Hello everyone, this is Jose Leiva here, and in this video we're going to go over the different tools that the government is implementing to help avoid a real estate foreclosure crisis such as we had in the Great Recession from 2008 and 2010. I remember those days vividly since I've been in the business for 15 years. Okay, take a listen. Good morning everyone, this is Jose Leiva coming to you from downtown Los Angeles. And I know I get this question a lot: is the real estate market going to crash in 2021? Well, I'm going to give you two very strong reasons why I think that's highly unlikely. And they're coming from the government pretty much. And as far as like protections from the government that are designed to benefit us, citizens. Okay, so now the Federal Reserve System is at the Central Bank of the United States, and they have committed to helping you with preserving your credit. And as actually in their mission statement, it says conducts the nation's monetary policy to promote maximum employment, stable prices, and moderate long-term interest rates in the United States economy. And this is from their website. How have they done that in 2021 and 2020? Actually, if you know anybody that has a property or that's buying a property, you have historic interest rates in the low 2%, low to mid 2%, and that's thanks to the Fed doing their part to stimulate the economy with low interest rates. And so here in California, they're also doing their part to allow for a better flow of real estate in the market, and that is with SB 1079. Now, what is SB 1079? In 2008 to 2010, when we had the biggest recession we've had in like a long time since the Great Depression in the early 20th century. A lot of banks were foreclosing on properties that were not being delivered to regular home buyers. They were actually being purchased by hedge funds, and it's called warehousing. So back in May of 2020, the state assembly came up with a bill to actually prevent that, and it was sponsored by somebody named Skinner. Back in May 2020, the bill proposes a series of measures intended to mitigate against blight, vacancy, and the transfer of residential property ownership from owner-occupants to landlord investors in the event that California experiences a wave of foreclosures. So what does that mean? Back during the recession, what was happening, from what I remember, is that properties were not being released to the general public. So they would package mortgages, like this is thousands of them, and they would sell it to hedge funds in Wall Street. And so what that created was that this rental market, because all these properties were going to renters, they were not going to property buyers. And I remember sitting in my open houses and having regular folks like you and I trying to buy a property that was going back then, for the $200,000 or so, which are now double, and they're not being able to qualify because number one, the credit was very difficult to obtain. Here we go, the Fed is helping with that now. And number two, there was lack of inventory as well, because there was a period where only hedge funds were buying all these properties and not being released to the public. And so that created some inventory problems back then. Now, last year, the governor actually signed Bill 1079, and what this is it modifies the foreclosure auction process to reduce the advantages big corporations have that allow them to bulk purchase. It was called bulk purchase, meaning like they would package all these properties and sell them by the hundreds and thousands to them instead of releasing it to the public. This bill prevents that. It levels the playing field. SB 1079 also authorizes higher fines that a local government can levy on corporations that don't follow the rules. Now, it sends a clear message to Wall Street that California homes are not yours to gobble up. And so what that means is that, from what I researched and read, is that it allows 45 days from the time that an investor forecloses on a property for a local nonprofit or the government, the city government, to purchase this home and sell it to the regular folks like you and I. And so that will eliminate that problem that created, where properties were being sold to investors, and then people were just putting like $10,000 in it and reselling them for 100% more. And that was happening a lot back then. Now, here's another reason why I think this is not going to happen, this like market crash. The third reason that I think this is not going to happen is that right now, if somebody's having problems paying their property, they can talk to the bank, and 95% of the cases they can talk to the banks, and then the banks will give them a break. They will allow them to not pay their mortgage from 3 to 6 months. Okay, and that's actually in the law right now for any banks, that any property that's backed by an FHA or Fannie Mae, actually, which is 90% of them out there, residential properties, they will have a chance to delay their payment from 3 to 6 months. But even bigger than that, if somebody has problems and they want to sell their property, like yesterday somebody called me from a property I sold two years ago, that they're having some marital problems. They're going to be divorcing, and they want me to come and list the property for them for sale. No problem, because everybody that purchased the property even 2 or 1.5 years ago has equity. That was not happening back in the recession because prices dropped. So not only are you getting a break from the banks, okay, to delay the payment, but you're also have equity on the property. So you have two reasons that you will not be foreclosed on. Okay, so I think those are very strong reasons why we're not going to have a market crash in 2021. Thank you very much. Take care.